on training jugger skills at home. Especially during winter, and especially if you do not have an own gym for your jugger group, it might be a nice idea to have an opportunity to train your jugger skills even when you're at home. Or even during the summer season, when it's raining outside, for example, when you're coming back from work and you wish to tweak and twist a bit with your jugger skills and getting a bit better here and there. So what I want to show you now are some very simple techniques how you can sort of hone some of your skills. So the first thing, of course, are jugger steps, as we have it. So just train your basic stance, how it looks well. You do not really need a spar here to focus on your feet. Hop a bit so that your body stabilizes. See that you do not bow or go too far back, but that you stand upright. Take your hand forward a bit like with fencing lessons, and then do the step forward, step backward motion, add cross steps like this and stuff like this. So just the basic stepping, and that is in fact quite a good training in the morning, for example, when you get up, because your legs get trained pretty well. Do lunges and look at your body with the lunges. You see here, no, the foot has to be straight, right? So like this, your back leg should be outstretched, and the other foot, that's quite important, should be flat on the ground. Many do it like this. That's not good. You can feel it in your leg that this is not a good position, and either is not good here, because as you see, even there, you feel it in your body that your back leg doesn't feel right. So do a proper lunge. Other important thing that many people don't see, you see this in fencing and karate as an advice, and it's quite proper to do so. Take down your shoulder. So do a lunge, and look, are you doing a lunge like this, or are you doing a lunge like this? See to it that your shoulder is low, not high. So we have step forward, step backward, this forward, backward, hopping sort of, and then we have the lunge with the check. Where's my shoulder? Where is my back leg? And where is my front leg? Add probably those good morning workouts that you may find on the internet. They are quite nice ones, and prepare whichever leg you prefer, but also prepare the other leg, just for body balance. Otherwise this might be bad for you if you just focus on one side. Add some evasion steps. You know, there could always be someone who tries to hit you on the tube like this, and then add a lunge. And again, check your position. Said there's not a perfect way. Look in the old fencing masters books from the 15th century, even 14th century, and you will see different feet positions, also depending on which style you play. But basic principle, body mechanics, that has to work. There are different approaches, but always keep in mind your body is your feedback master, so to speak. If you do it like this, you will feel, okay, my body doesn't feel well. If you do it like this, you feel, my body doesn't feel like well. If you do it like this, you feel, no, that's not good. So listen to your body and check your stance and try to make it better so that it feels really, oh, nice. Now it goes nicely. After that, take your spar. Do the same thing with your spar, and as you can see, it's a very narrow space here. I intentionally picked this narrow space to demonstrate a proper way of indoor training, so to speak. Train it with narrow walls so that there is no danger of breaking anything. Now the same thing with the spars. Again, check your stance with the lunge. Check your grip of the spar, that you don't grip it like here and stop here, but that you really extend it. Just proper lunges and all this, and add fencing steps. Also add parry. One parry that you might do with longsword or with staff is going up. So lunge, go up with the parry, and then retreat backwards with a cross step like this. So combination would be lunge, now parry, back step. Fine, and repeat. Next step, when you have mastered this, would be lunge, back with your shoulder, but at the same time move back your leg for the cross step, get into the standard position again. What people often do is to lean forward when they have two-handed spars. That's fine, that's perfect. So don't stand like this with fencing, like I'm a stone, I'm a rock, I'm standing a rock still. No, you don't want that. But I wouldn't recommend to do this. Do not stand on the toe, because this might be uncomfortable when you're doing a lunge. See to it that your back foot, it might be not 90 degrees, but less. That's also fine for two-handed spars especially, but keep it as flat on the ground as possible, so that when you're doing a lunge, foot is back on the ground, you can retreat easily. Okay? So those are the details. Lunge, back, stand. Watch your shoulder. Lunge, back, and stance. The other thing is, of course, when you will be on the field, then you won't do this, because you would be hit here. You would extend it much more to be able to parry, but the principle is the same. This is just training. This is not real refinement. You can refine your skills by looking at your feet, for example, by having keeping your feet in mind and checking your stance, checking how your shoulder is and how your back foot is, but mainly it is training for condition and for the body itself and for body reaction, that you do automatically the right steps. And especially with the retreating step here, when you do this, it is important first train, move your whole body, and then this trick, end up in a stable position. Because if you're retreating in a position where your opponent comes close and presses on, you might parry and then you might lose balance. Add your fencing steps. See to it with your front foot when you're hopping, not up and down, but forward and backward, that your forward foot does not do this. It shouldn't turn. It should point forward all the time. You can see that's quite hard. A lunge, parry, and retreat. Hop up, check your stance. You must not end up in a perfect stance in the end, but you should check whether your stance is stable and robust, or whether you're doing something strange like this or so, where you're becoming unstable after a while, so that your body remembers this is a stable stance. Even if I get pressed back after I'm lunging and parrying like this, it looks very unstable, I still can go back to a stable position. But now it's time for the bird. Next step, as had promised, this little birdie here could be even a balloon or something, or a softball or anything else round and soft and not too heavy, not too light. This is a bit too light, I fear. We take this as training practice for hitting, for reach, and for precision of our hits. And for this we take a measure, so the right distance, and now we check from a standing position how far do we reach. Okay, I can go even a bit further back, and I still hit it just with the tip of my spar. I don't want to stand here, this is wrong. I want to stand as far back as possible, so that I just touch it with the point. In case that I have a long sword, of course I can point, and then I will see the reach to my tip there. But for now we have a shortened staff, a special staff variant, so for us we want to hit it and not to thrust against it. And you see it's bunging around, but that's not too bad either. What we're doing first is we're standing, just with a good stable stance, and then we're hitting it. All the time try to soften it when it goes round, and try just to hit it. That you always hit it with the tip of the spar. Okay? Even here, as you can see, it's quite important when you are aiming for your little birdie, for your target, that you are not doing this. This doesn't work, this doesn't matter. What you want to do is extend your arm. So you're standing in a good position, basic stance, and then you are extending your arm and trying to hit the bird with extended, outstretched arms, not with folded arms. Because when you fold them, your opponent will have much better chances to hit you. They will have a longer reach when they stretch out their arms. You want to have as much distance between you and your opponent as possible, so you can just hit them with your tip, and he might miss you if you get the timing right. So, like this. Okay, fine. Now, when this works, and we have some proper training here with outstretched arms and you have a feeling for distance, slow down the bird. Then we can add lunges, and for the filming, I cannot move as much as I would usually, even in this small area. I would move forward and backward to get a feeling for the distance. Okay, so same training, but add a lunge. First, a slow lunge. Look for your reach. This is too far. Back a bit. Check your distance. Do a lunge. Okay, this is much better. And you see, I have my staff, I'm holding my staff here. I don't like this because you lose control and it feels like cheating. I mean, this is a grip. So grip it like a grip, but right on the end, so that you have 1.10 meters reach. And then try to get the lunge as precise as possible, that you just can hit your birdie with the tip like this. Okay, nice and smooth. And now add more steps. Go away. Even if you can close in, you don't want to do this. You are much too close for it. That would be dangerous. Your measure, perfect measure, is this way. You just can hit it with a tip. And as I said, if you're training with a Q-tip or with a long sword, of course you would just thrust as far as possible and try to hit it just with the tip of your Q-tip or your long sword. Same for the short sword. That would be, for example, this one, that would be just like this. That you just touch it, but not go further in. Do them quick, spool up your speed, look at the bird. It should not be hard hits. It shouldn't move too much. It should just move a bit here. Yeah, nice. So that was too close. If you have done this often enough and you feel comfortable, now comes the additional part, and that's moving. And this again will be hard here because of the camera position and because of the narrowness of our space. So we'll just do it a bit closer. So you go in with your basic steps like this, and when you feel that the distance is right, then you're doing a lunge and trying to hit your bird only with the tip. So you're going in, and when you feel right distance, hit. In this case too narrow because we don't have enough space. Anyway, we're going in, closing in, and retreat. Closing in, and retreat. Closing in, and retreat. Closing in, and retreat. Also, take different attack angles. So not always hit from one side, poor bird, but place it once from below. Very effective against the upper arm, the forearm, of an opponent. Just hit him on the forearm and down. Perfect. But also do other things like these. Round it and hit it. And of course, as I said, do this in combination with a lunge. So, okay, okay, okay. And you see here, I don't even hit it. I just am closing in. So to see whether my distance is right, I don't really need to hit it. But of course, especially for the beginning, it's better to really hit it to develop a feeling, okay, I've gotten it. And I'm not somewhere here, for example. Do this exercise quite often and you will develop a good feeling for reach. So these steps are some basic steps that you can do with your little friendly bird here. An additional training element that you can nicely do at home, especially when you're a short sword player, put away our stuff, take a spar that's a bit heavier if you have one, not the lightweight ones. You can do the lightweight ones afterwards. Stretch them forward, and a movement that you will often need, even in classical historical fencing, is this. And so train your hand and your wrist agility. Put your hand up or wherever you want, your second hand, but do this all the time. Okay, now add fencing steps. You see, it becomes harder. Lunge, walk, back. You do not need the hopping really. It really is enough if you do it like this. Best stand to the side, so that you condition yourself to stand always to the side. And in this case, of course, if you have a shield, you would like to stand so if you look for conditioning, because you're holding your shield here. Do this as quickly as possible, not too much so that it doesn't hurt, In the beginning you have to train it a bit, and then later when you have done it well, do it like this with a lightweight spar. And faster and faster and faster. Exactly. So your goal is not to do this, but to do this. The lower limb almost doesn't move, only the hand and the wrist swirling around. Because this will be the main attack movement with short spars. And here you can see, quite important that everything is safe. With this you can do this as well, like this. Looks a bit strange, and I don't know whether I can recommend it, but you can do it of course. In this case, just like in can-do, see that this is sort of your gear where holding it only, and the other hand is wriggling it around, so that you train your hand, or that you train your grip directly to turn with the back hand and not with the front hand. And since it's so narrow here, it's quite a good training that you do not do this long stretches, but that you do small movements, small, fast movements, mainly coming from this backhand. The forehand is only steering. And now check your stance. Up with it. You can go back on your toes if you like, so that you can retreat better. Put your weight on the front foot and be able to draw it back if needed. So this, see to your stance, check your stance now. Second step, so to speak, after you have trained the first, only hitting, no hitting with stance, forward and then add a lunge, and remember to do a nice parry. Another training opportunity is the kata, which is quite nice because it is a succession of fixed steps. We often say, okay, in karate it might not help you too much in a street fight. In Jugger, it might not help you perfectly in gameplay, of course, but with a kata, and in Jugger as well, I think, you can refine your technique by the kata, and especially if you do not have an opponent. So what you could do, for example, is you go forward, backward, cross step forward, cross step backward, forward, backward, lunge, parry, this way, or maybe even better, that way, while doing a cross step. Okay, now train the same thing, but with leaning a bit more in, leaning toward your opponent. Don't stand like I did now. This is good for the beginning to train steps and condition for the legs. Don't forget, this is also for body conditioning. That's not only technique training. So lean a bit forward and do the same here. Train to get back your leg. And now develop a system where you can say forward, forward, backward, backward, forward, forward, backward, backward, cross step forward, cross step backward, lunge, parry with cross step, stay stable, ignore the bird, forward, forward, lunge, parry, forward, lunge, draw back your feet, stand stable, robust, draw back your feet, lean forward. There, don't go up, don't do this, except if you really like it. It's your own choice. I personally wouldn't recommend it. So that's about it for the quick training elements that you can do at home. That's it for now. Training some Jugger skills at home. There's much more out there, of course, and you might really have your own Jugger skill trainings. I would love to hear it. If you love the video, please consider to share it or to give it a so-called thumbs up stuff, whatever. Because your views and your likes and your comments are my fuel to do more videos on Jugger.
See you around, and welcome to check out my other Jugger tutorials on team training, spars making, experiments with different kinds of spars, and check out my Twitter streams for update. Your like is my fuel.